In this video, I show you how to assemble and use your agricultural spray pan. Let's get into it, guys. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now, ever so often, I use my spray pan, whether it be for pest control, weed control, or basic watering of my plants. Today, I'll be showing you how to assemble and use your spray pan effectively and efficiently. So after purchasing your spray pan, the only thing that you will need to actually set it up should be your screwdriver. Well, depending on the one that you actually got, right? So I was gifted recently, the Jamaican Network of Rural Women Producers gifted me with my own spray pan. Now guys, I have been searching, looking around for spray pan, and I said, you know what, I need to go and invest in one, because usually I have to borrow, and it wasn't a big problem. But now I actually have my own. The JNRWP, which is the Jamaican Network of Rural Women Producers, gifted me with, let me show it to you guys, an Orion spray pan. There we have it, and nice and cute, very petite. It fits well to my body type, and I have my own spray pan. I'm so grateful, and I just want to say thank you to the Jamaican Network of Rural Women Producers. You can always go ahead on Facebook and check them out and see what it is that they're doing for our rural women. Very effective in a time as such. Let's get into the parts of our spray pan. The first thing to note is your actual tank of your spray pan. Now this is what we actually call the tank, right? So you have your tank. Now these are the basic parts of your spray pan, right? So you have what we call the strainer, and this is just to filter whatever it is that, if you're putting in a particular substance and you want it to actually be filtered or strained, this is what you'd use. These are the parts that would make up your lance. So this is what we'd call the lance, and when fitted up, it forms a lance. At the top here is where we have the nozzle, and this is where the liquid will actually come through. So when you spray, when you use that trigger and you spray, this is where the liquid or the fluid will come from or come through. The Orion spray pan, though, I have to give it credit. What it actually has a section where you can actually lengthen your lance, right? And that lance is like a probe. And what you will have with us females is a bit hard to be walking around with a spray pan. So what you can do, you can put your spray pan in one fixed position, and it allows you to cover a greater area, right? So you have greater coverage when spraying, because this can actually, you can actually extend this section. So definitely a good brand to get. Now the other aspect that we have is the belt, and this is what you'll actually use to transport your spray pan around. Here we have your connecting hose, which is actually attached to your trigger valve, right? And the trigger valve is basically what you would press to ensure that the fluid goes through the lance and out through the probe, right? Now the other very important part that we have is your pump. Now the pump is what we have to the top of the spray pan, right? Here's a handle that you can actually also use to lift. Not advised, only if the spray pan is empty. This is the lever here, turn to take out your pump. Now this pump is what you actually use to build pressure within the spray pan, so you can then be able to spray, right? Or for fluid to actually flow. It is a pressurized system. So this is what we call the pump, and the pump goes to the top of the spray pan. Now here is a very important part which we call the suction pipe. So now that we have identified our parts to assemble our spray pan properly, let's go have some fun. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first step is to attach your suction pipe to your connecting hose. And what you're going to do, you're basically going to be putting the suction pipe into the connecting hose until you feel a resistance. That resistance would mean that it has been safely and properly inserted into the connecting pipe, right? And then we screw here and attach the connecting pipe to the tank of the spray pan. All right, now that that has been safely secured, we will now move on to assembling our lance. Alright, so I have now assembled my lance. And your lance is connected to your trigger valve. Each time when attaching the different structures or different parts of your spray pan, ensure that there are O-rings within, which is to prevent spillage or leakage. Alright, so we have attached our lance to our trigger valve. I'm just gonna get it out of the way. Now this Orion spray pan, within the package, you will get screws as to install, for you to actually install your belt onto your spray pan. Alright, so we're going to retrieve those screws, and remember I told you that you're going to be needing a screwdriver. Now the screws that actually came with this package, I would need the star point. It is quite simple and easy. The only thing that you'll be required to do is just to exert a little bit of force. Alright, and females, women, we got this. Upon experiment, I've realized that it is best to assemble or to attach your belt vertically on your spray pan instead of horizontally. So, take for instance, when I put this horizontally, so I put it at the top of the spray pan, it's very hard to maneuver, it's very hard to lift, and it might be very strenuous on your core, on your arm. However, when you install it vertically, you'll be distributing the weight to a longer surface area, so it lessens the pressure on your back or on your shoulders. Alright? So I will be installing my belt vertically on my spray pan. Now it comes with some clips. You're gonna clip it into the holder here on the spray pan. I'm going to just screw it to the spray pan. So I'm gonna affix it to the spray pan. So let's get started. So when attaching your belt to the spray pan, you don't want to screw it in too tight because you still want it to be flexible. So this is a bit tight, so I'm going to loosen. I'm going to slacken the screw a little bit so that this will be quite flexible. Alright? And there we have it. Our spray pan has now been assembled. It has now been fitted and ready for usage. So today I'm going to be doing what we call a parasite control. I have been plagued by ticks throughout this dry season, and for those of you who don't know what ticks are arthropods that you'd usually see on your cows and those farm animals. They're parasites, they stick to you and they suck you dry. I'm just kidding. But they suck you, and for persons who may have sensitive skin, they always leave marks. So for me, I've been bitten quite a few times and they're leaving marks, and I'm fed up of it, really and truly. So today I'm going to be going through and I'm going to be spraying the outskirts of the farm and also different areas in which I would actually plant from time to time, and to control my ticks invasion. So now that I've actually fitted my spray pan, I have applied my solution to the spray pan, and this spray pan comes in 4 different sizes. We have the 3 liters, 6 liters, 9 liters, and 12 liters. Now for this one, I was gifted with the 9 liter spray pan, right? So it can be quite heavy. If filled to capacity, it can be quite heavy. So I'd recommend for persons who, you're unable to manage, you can put it on the ground, as I said before, because the lance can be extended to reach greater areas without you moving it onto your shoulders. For me, I have about 3 liters in this, so it's not that bad. So I am going to be going over into my spraying. So this is how it will actually fit onto your back. So quite nice and petite, ladies. Check it out, right? But one thing I should show you what it comes with. There are two levers which comes to the side of the spray pan, which we call the footrest. Now this allows you to help you to be able to maneuver. For example, now I'm going to be pumping. I'm going to be using my pump to apply pressure within the tank. That pressure will build up and then the fluid will be able to flow through my lance after I have applied my trigger, right? So now I'm going to use my footrest, place my feet on both parts, right? Yes, which act as a footrest. And I'm going to use my pump and I'm going to pump it up. After pumping, I would then seal, turn, and that's it. Ensuring that the top is actually sealed and secure and no spillage can occur. I'm now ready to use my spray pan, but one very important thing or things that we'll need is your PPEs. You need your protective gears, especially if you're using chemicals, pesticides, whatever it is that involves chemicals. You need to ensure that you're using your PPEs. Also know that children and pregnant women should not be using these spray pans. My gloves, my water boot, and let's get into it. After pumping, there is enough pressure within the tank, so when I press on my trigger, it will release the fluid. And I can just stand here and spray. Can you hear that? And remember, if I want to reach further areas, I extend my lance, my probe here, and I spray. There you have it, guys.